So I'm going to close this off. I can't believe I lost the text with this one slide. It's 10:30, and then we'll be open to questions. Um, so I'm going to have to go here to share a frontispiece that I had modified. Again, I honestly don't know what happened. Well, I do know what happened. On my iPad, it said, which of these two do you want to keep? And I kept the wrong one. So this is a frontispiece to a bakery from 1748. But I need you to focus. This was in a different talk, so a different purpose, not on the bolting. But you see, so I want you to go over 1, 2, 3 to the right-hand column and move down to where it says I break. Do you all see that? You all see that? I break. So there is a baker. He's breaking the dough. He's working the dough with a pole that's attached to a wall with a pivot, and he's jumping over the bread. And so this is what I'm going to tell you. This is my epiphany that I actually didn't have until last night. Is that what we are looking at in these written bread recipes are recipes that come from commercial bakers. And the commercial bakers found that they could work fast if they had a reasonably stiff dough, which works out to 60% hydration by the numbers, when you actually look at the numbers. So just a basic modern bread, okay? And they could work 60, 65, 55%. They could work in that way, going fucking fast. Carl, are you going to agree with me on this?
I do, because we know that from the Egyptians, it was the women who were making the bread, very liquid doughs, because women did not have the same manpower. So, and they were baking into baking things, into these terracotta molds. So we know that they were having very liquid doughs. And when the Romans brought in the slaves from Greece, the doughs got faster, stiffer and stiffer, because the slaves were supposed to handle better the dough. And in Spanish, there is this saying which says, masa duro, pan seguro. If your dough is stiff, you're sure to make bread. And it's a given. If you have less hydrated doughs, it's easier to handle the dough. You need less skills. It's just easier to make bread. So by decreasing the amounts of water in the dough, it was indeed easier to make more bread in a shorter amount of time by less skilled people.
All right. Thank you.
And one more point, William, is that we all want to eat flour for calories. That 1 pound of wheat, if you're going to eat 1 pound of wheat a day, say that was your ration or that's what you want, whether it has 50% hydration like military bread or 60% like civilian bread, you want to eat the pound of wheat. You want the full caloric intake. You don't want to eat water.
That's absolutely true. And when we get, that's right. That's absolutely right. But I want right now to be focused as I close this off in 2 more minutes, 5 minutes late, as I close this off, that when we're looking at these recipes, we are looking at published recipes, mostly inspired, mostly with information from bakers. And that has influenced the domestic bread trajectory really up until today. And of course, today, with a lot of male bakers who are the SHBs, the serious home bakers, trying to emulate the breads made by people like Jeff and Carl to make commercial breads. You know, we're in the thrall of that commercial tradition. But the reason, but I think it is really important is to then understand that when you approach these, if you get to like a 60% water, that's probably right, you know? And we're not talking about the bread that you might have made at home that might have been more hydrated, you know, where you didn't need to replicate, it didn't need to be exactly the same every time. These are commercial bakers. When you also restrict when it's stiffer, it's easier to make it the same. The slash mark, the poke, whatever it was that marked the bread, it's going to come out the same, and everyone's going to be happy.